BFBS Forces News join KFOR patrols in the north of Kosovo.
We're here to create a safe and secure environment for the people in Kosovo and the people of Kosovo.
Our job, fly and fight from the home base, and we've got to be able to do that in whatever conditions.
This training is mutually beneficial to both sides. For the riflemen themselves, it's about getting that valuable training in the desert.
At the heart of Lympstone Parade Square, the King's Squad, and there could be no more special guest of honour than His Majesty the King.
And whilst I'm not moving the controls at all, I can certainly learn from what I'm seeing as to how a manoeuvre should be flown.
This year, 337 recruits have completed training. That's a first-time pass rate of 99.7%, which is incredibly high.
So we have a philosophy on this ship called the Way of the Warrior Sailor. It argues that in order to create morale, you must love and value everybody.
This beam here came from HMS Indefatigable. The beams from the Armada were eventually integrated into the pub.
At BFBS Creative, we are creative storytellers. We are specialists in unravelling the untold, even from the most difficult locations. We help you reach the audiences you need to reach. From documentary interviews to addressing communication hurdles and crafting your content strategy, we can do it all. We thrive in the toughest environments, ensuring your stories are told brilliantly.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the RAF Storm Shadows channel. I am once again joined by the immeasurably enthusiastic Roman in the commentary box this evening, Roman. And as you can see on your screens there, it is the RAF Storm Shadows taking on the Army Esports side. A fascinating insight into what we might come to expect in the inter-services. But for tonight, it's the Armed Forces Dungeon League. Let's get this show started.
Carries this forward, gets 50 with Fraz. Ed get into that one. NB tucks it away. And as I say, they need an opening goal. They have managed to get one here, 1-0.
Frazic though does some nice defensive work, but P finds Cedric. Cedric finds Envy. Beautiful stuff from the RAF Storm Shadows. 2-0.
Approximately a minute and a half left to go. Envy goes for a pass to P. P with a shot. P with a goal. Tucked away in the top left corner. 2-1 to the RAF Storm Shadows, and they are shining through here after the Army. They've struggled to rotate. They struggled to get into position after kickoff, and P managing to give the RAF Storm Shadows that advantage
Didn't
again.
have a lot to work with, didn't have a lot of the goal to aim at, but he put it in the one place that it was going to go to, and Cedric makes it 3! And the floodgates are beginning to open here for the RAF Storm Shadows. A great 30-second burst, and now they've just got to hold it, or even go for more.
Air power wins matches in Burgundy, and you can't tell me otherwise, as Ed will tuck down away, and the Storm Shadows have the advantage here with 3 minutes left to go. Nothing about air superiority there. P just managing to get a pass across. A very strong 50 indeed, and Ed had an entire net to tuck it away. 1-0 to the Storm Shadows, and the Army, they've been crumbling since game 3. To control this one and take it downfield, intercepted immediately by Ed, and this pressure from the Storm Shadows has been relentless, and Envy, the man from Cosford, will tip this away to make it 2-0, and almost an improbable comeback for the Army to try and pull off with 90 seconds left to go. The way they've been playing, the RAF Storm Shadows, they're currently unstoppable.
The RAF Storm Shadows, an incredible goal. They've done it again, and it's 2-0 now, and it's 3-0 now. The lead looking unassailable
away. Gives Ed some time here on the sidewall. Gets it up. Piers on the backboard lurking. Is Ed going to get this one away? No, but Envy's going to be there. Envy's going to tuck it away. It's 4-1 to the RAF Storm Shadows. Rose-tinted glasses are on, and I don't care. It is game over. The RAF have trampled the army. 4-1. Could be 5-1. I don't care what the scoreline is. It's going to be game over with 1:06 left to go. You're going to have me in the commentary box. I'm going to be hyping the boys the entire time. Not just the Storm Shadows, the Sentinels and the Shadows as well. As this game comes to a close with almost P tucking away a very nice shot there. Just drops at the death. Storm Shadows 3. The Army Sparrows 1. And, well, the Storm Shadows did it in fashion late on.
Hi, I'm AS1T Stelios Elia. In-game, I'm known as SE1997.
Corporal Elliot Greenwood, and in-game I'm known as G-Wood.
My name is AS1 Tech Edward Nussey-Waite, otherwise known as Cedric in-game.
It's already looking like they've upped the bar from last year, which is a really tough job to even do that. We are looking forward, not just myself, but as a team, to going out on that stage and representing the Royal Air Force as best as we can.
Playing up on a stage like this is the first time. We had a thing called Rank A, where it was all the top players played against each other, and then we picked our teams. I've finally made it into the first team after a lot of hard work.
Both my teammates are really talented. We gel super well. Really looking forward to playing with them on stage and seeing what we can do.
From my end, the leadership were outstanding, no issues at all.
Not just from my own personal line management, but also the Royal Air Force Esports Association backed us very well, I should say, and made sure we had all the support we needed to get here, and they're always a phone call away if we do need them for anything.
Really excited to play Coast Guard. It'll be closer than everyone thinks. After playing them, we think we stand a bit of a fighting chance.
The second Air Force team, emphasis on second now. We're a solid team, three really good players who could do some damage for sure.
Although we are in different forces across NATO, we are colleagues, so it's nice to meet them in person and just have a laugh and play against them and hopefully beat them as well.
You ready? AFG, you're washed.
Coast Guard, you ain't as good as you think you are. We're coming for you.
Space Force, stick to minigolf.
We're going to win it.
No, we're not.
We're going to win it. We're going all the way.
I thought it was good until I saw them play. The Americans will never hear the end of it if we end up winning somehow.
Look, I'll shake on it. You know me, I don't drink. I will drink heavily if we win.
That the pressure put down. Stelios with no boost thrown into corner will be wildly out of position. G-Wood needs to put it to the air. Don't go towards net on this one. Instead, Cedric go for the double touch. It's a beautiful finisher. 19 seconds into OT, and the RAF already going to match point.
That's right, boys. Once again, I'm joined alongside none other than Stelios. Stelios, at the very start of that match, you pointed out the fact that the strategy was aggression, was confidence. Do you personally feel like you guys delivered on all fronts?
Yeah, it was a series that we just stuck to the plan and executed it to perfection. I felt really good myself. I felt the other boys also played their part individually, and then we executed the plan as a team together. It was almost perfection, which means we've got to live up to that in the next round as well. So we can't just rest on our laurels. We've got to take it forward.
Well, for you personally, you were the first one to score goals across, I think, 2 or 3 of those matches that we saw there as well. Was that part of the game plan for you to be the force of nature, as it were, in this matchup?
I'm certainly a force of nature, but usually not in front of goal. It's usually Cedric or G-Wood that are bagging the goals when it counts. However, the way we're set up is it doesn't matter who has the chance to score. It could be any one of us. The way we play, we create spaces for anyone to score. And it just so happened that it was me that was in the prime position to put it in the back of the net, and thankfully I did.
Half, but not for too much longer. Sentinels have broken free, although only momentarily. Now into the retreat, Cedric and Asher, not for the first time today, failing to meet the problem at the source.
That's Cedric though.
Good evening and welcome back to the RAF Storm Shadows channel for a highly anticipated match here tonight. It is official, a token match for second position between the RAF Shadows and the RAF Tempests. Joining me in the commentary box once again for this prestigious fixture between two very historic sides within RAF Rocket League is none other than RAF Storm Shadows captain, leader legend, some might even say, double inter-service champion, Cedric. Welcome back to the commentary box.
You're too kind, Stel. You're too kind. But yeah, happy to be here, and I'm excited to watch this one. And I think, you know, Shadows have a chance here. I don't think it's going to be absolute domination from the Tempests, as I feel like the majority may think would happen. The Shadows are a strong side, and I'm looking forward to see how they deal with this new look RAF Tempests.
It's a match that's seeped in history, these two sides. Of course, the RAF Tempest, the first ever team to convert convert a token and then also defend that position as well. I think that was on the former RAF Phantom / Blue team all those years ago now. And then, of course, the Shadows, who can forget? The historically wiped out the RAF Tempests on the qualification match in the AFL qualifier of 2025. What an incredible moment. That actually won, of course, moment of the year for 2025 for the RAF Shadows. So an incredible moment for them, and they won't be scared by the opposition tonight. Of course, for the RAF Tempest on the other side of the pitch, they'll be very confident with their play. They'll know that they've practiced and they've worked on this. I can tell you for a fact that they have been scrimming a lot, Cedric as well. So the Tempests are going to be prepared. The Shadows aren't going to be scared. And it's a rock and a hard place. So, do you have any insights in your mind as to what we might expect to see tonight?
Oh, well, you can expect that the Tempests are going to come in pretty hot. They want to establish, that they're the better team as early as they can, and the Shadows' job is to try and stop that. Obviously, in the minds of the Tempests, they're going to go into this game knowing on paper that they are the much stronger team. However, if anyone's seen the Shadows play, and once you let the Shadows take a lead, it's going to be very difficult to get back into that game.
Indeed, and a quick glance at the chat then whilst we wait for the players to be ready. I can see a lot of familiar faces there. We've got Asher, of course, playing for the RAF Tempest tonight. Good to see him back in the official roster. Vixed, Tempests are prepped. I wonder why Vixed. Smithy, how are you, Smithy? Good to see you here. How are you doing tonight? I mean, what is the chat thing? We've got Jonesy as well. Jonesy, how are you, bro? Hope your holiday is going well. What does the chat think of the prediction tonight? Like, which way do you see this one going? Of course, if you are Asher, you can't vote for yourself. In fact, you can't vote at all because you're playing. That'll be match fixing, right? Yes, Dodds. Dodds, how are you? Nice to see you here. Bale's in the chat as well. We're all inactive, all being active tonight. We love it. Love to see it. Bale, how's your phase 2 going? Tempest sweep, he says. Tempest sweep. Oh, well, by margin of rank, Cedric, I'm sure you'll agree, again, Tempest will have the upper hand. They've got Samez, who is pushing GC3. It's fair to say pushing, not quite there yet. We've got Asher, who's always been in and around the GC1, GC2 level, even played at GC3 a lot of the time. And then we got, of course, Reedy, who you've been impressed with, I know, right?
Yeah, he's a grinder for sure. Sitting around that GC2 level. I think he's at his peak right now. Obviously, he's had a little bit of coaching from Psycho, and Psycho had very, very good words to say. So yeah, he'll be defo one to watch in this series still.
Of course, as well, on the other side of the pitch, if we go have a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Player-by-player breakdown. We start with Kurt. I mean, Captain Kurt, who won Captain of the Year of 2025 between all the current and, of course, former and prospective captains of all the RAF Rocket League teams. And, I think it's fair to say, Cedric, it's no wonder. I mean, he's a player who has a very busy life outside of gaming, but always seems to find the time to spare an hour or two just to work on his game quietly in the background. He's a very humble, very quiet personality, but do not let that fool you. He's a man that gets things done. He is very organised with these teams, and at least one thing I like about Kurt is his softness and how just nice of a person he is until you get into the game where he's an absolute menace. And watching him over 2 or 3 years now, it has been a sheer pleasure. I'm sure you'll agree, Cedric, with that for Kurt, watching him grow.
Yeah, Kurt's one of those who he won't stop until the whistle blows. He'll put his all in till the end, and from what I've heard, he's one hell of a captain. So hopefully he'll rally his troops today and maybe come away with a surprise win.
For Steve the Deal as well, the Grey Man, as you will know him by. I mean, you are about to see a little clip of them actually. Actually, no, I didn't play the intro. I should have played the intro clip because that was the perfect time to do it, but I didn't do it. Regardless, the Grey Man, everybody's favourite player in my opinion. I absolutely love him, and a player who on his day can be really, really deadly. I think the players are now ready. So, Cedric, I think that leaves us with no other option but to get things kicked off. It is the RAF Tempest. It is the RAF Shadows. It is a token match. So remember, a lot more on the line today than simply just pride. It is for second position. Will it be the Tempest or will it be the Shadows?
Well, that is the question we're all about to find out, as we've got Great Man versus Samez on the kickoff, and it goes straight to the man, the captain, Kurt, who is going to hit it off the ceiling, looking to get something early in this matchup. Reedy will take this one downfield as the new boy on the block. Logan will collect. Going to take his time here. He knows he doesn't need to rush, and that was on net, and this could be an early lead for the Shadows, but it's not to be this time still.
Oh, Shadows pressure so far. But that is a nice setup. The Greyman has to come across and try to read it, but Reedy shot from inside his own half, just wide of the mark, and it's end-to-end stuff immediately. The Shadows and Tempest threatening to put on an entertainment masterclass, as they always seem to do. Samez now takes possession. Shot infield, it's a bit of a miss, but Samez can't quite convert at that far post, and it's still a 0-0, but I'm not quite sure how.
Neither am I. There's been chances on both ends of the field as Reedy does put a shot on net. Just slightly wide, and Sam finds himself a little bit too awkward to do anything with that one. And there's an interesting car choice on the field from Asher in the DB5. As there is pressure from the Tempests, and Samez will open up the scoring for the RF Tempests.
Yeah, good work by Reedy, just probing that right-hand side. Kurt left a little bit awkward on the backboard with no boost. The Great Man almost cut in the nick of time, but no. Samez steaming in. Creme de la creme is his tag, and showing why in that particular moment. 1-0, the RAF Tempest draw first blood, and we have an interesting comment from a certain Jenez in the chat, which I won't repeat, but I want you to acknowledge it, Samez. Sorry, Ed, because it's very funny.
Yeah, I have seen it. I will not mention it. But hey, Sam does open up the scoring. However, the Shadows won't rest until they get one of their own. Logan up now, looking for a shot, goes for the double. Oh! Is there to follow, and that is an instant response from the RAF Shadows.
Insane stuff. Logan, LW, by the way, I love his nickname, LW. It's really revitalised his play, I feel, and he just sets that one up to his captain, Kurt, who makes up for that earlier error. And the RAF Shadows back on level terms, and maybe not the start that the RAF Tempest would have expected. Great soft touch by Logan. One-on-one with Reedy. Beats him all ends up. And just like that, bang! And the Shadows are 2-1 to the good. Soft touch is insane from Logan.
You can never, ever count the Shadows out. And if, you might have already done that. However, if anyone's watched the Shadows before, you should know by now that they are a force to be reckoned with. And he didn't get to second seed by luck. However, Asher will get a kickoff goal. And just like that, we're all even again.
And the response from the RAF Tempest just as quick as they conceded. Asher lightning fast following that kickoff. Samez pushed it in his direction, and Asher made sure that one stayed hit. 2-2 the scoreline. Logan and Reedy kicking off things here as we just encroach now over the first half of the game. The Grey Man shot on the backboard. It will drop awkwardly here. Is there a Shadows player? There is a demo, but there is a responding demo from Asher as well on the back line of Kurt. And Reedy will attempt a pass. Kurt away. And what an insane series already this is turning out to be. Pure entertainment, pure mania, but also good levels of play and a chance for the Grey Man. Well saved by Reedy.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you who the next goal is going to come from, but I can tell you there definitely will be at least one as Asher goes for a sidewall. It's going to fall to Samez, who gets one touch to the back wall, well covered by Kurt, takes it out to the sidewall, but it's still pressure on the blue net as Asher rises. It's just over the bar, but Reedy will be there, and he will claim his first goal of the series.
Good pressure by the RAF Tempest. Asher forcing that one to the crossbar and down with all the boost that he had, knowing full well his teammate Reedy was going to be there waiting and lying in wait. And again, another turnaround has happened. Another momentum shift has occurred as the RAF Shadows now find themselves one goal behind. That's an insane backboard read from Kurt. They're actually forcing all three Tempest players up off the ground. And is there a decisive shot? No. And instead, Reedy will collect the boost now. Left-hand side wall, good first touch. Limited boost on Logan. Steve has to cut and does cut. Kurt comes across. and saves the RAF Shadows from conceding another goal. Asher will follow up again. Samez just drops it into that Shadows corner. Knows Kurt has to go for it. Reedy with a shot off the backboard. Is there a Tempest player there? Not this time.
Not this time, and I'm not sure if Reedy recognised that was an open net. Decided to go for a flip reset. However, Samez will clean up. And he does recognise that open net. And that's a nice little cushion now for the RAF Tempests with 2 minutes left to play. However, as we've seen already, 6 goals in 2 minutes. I'm sure there will be plenty more.
Yeah, this one not over just yet. Tempest will have to be careful not to allow Shadows any kind of a route back into this, because they know they'll take it. But the Tempest right now anyway looking pretty solid and comfortable in their 2-goal lead. Logan going for a cut. Curtis going for a audacious fake. Almost paid off, but it was nicely challenged by Samez now. Steve, the deal. The grey man marching down the right. Asher, nice soft touch himself and pinches it downfield to relieve the pressure on the RAF Tempest net. Logan sending it straight back where it came from. Reedy will now take a soft touch of his own. 50s with Logan. Asher makes a cut. He will centre nicely now. He's hunting for the car of Curtis. Actually forces him to be really, really awkward. And Samez capitalising on the awkwardness for Kurt, who was left pretty much stranded. Knew Asher was coming for him. Knew he had to take evasive manoeuvres. And it was enough. It was enough to put him off.
Indeed, it was enough. And I think the difference maker in this series and between the Tempests and the Shadows, I think the Tempests are just a little bit more consistent with hitting the ball in like the exact direction that they want it, and getting these shots on target is going to be really important in this series. And as we see, Tempests extending their lead even more, and I think that's probably game 1 done and dusted. 6-2 to the RAF Tempests.
Yeah, difficult to see a way out of this one now for the RAF Shadows. A couple of murmurs in the chat. I think there is a couple of maybe technical issues for Kurt, with some apparent freezing, and that is never a good sign, you know, in a match like this. But that is the nature of the beast. Remember, a technical timeout is available if either of these two teams call it. There is a 2-minute tech window available, which the Shadows may or may not use, as Logan will have to rise for this inside the final 40 seconds now here in game 1. And what started off as an end-to-end affair, where the Shadows looked the more dangerous at times, has been simply turned into a Tempest decimation. They've been really ruthless here in the last couple of minutes. They've made their pressure count. They've imposed themselves nicely here on the RAF Shadows now, who start off their defense of second position with a loss. Remember, it is a best of 7, so plenty of time, plenty of Rocket League to play to turn this one around for them. The Tempest will be delighted with how they performed here, as Asher just plays it back. Is that what car is Asher playing in?
It's the DB5. I think I mentioned it right at the very start, but it is the James Bond car. Which is a very interesting choice for a game like this. However, if he feels good in it, I do not blame him.
Is the RAF Tempest then taking game 1, and an awkward period of time now for the RAF Shadows to navigate. We'll take a quick look then at the statistics for that game. Well, you can see all the goals and a lot of the threat off the ball as well coming from Samez for the RAF Tempest. A hat-trick for him and 2 assists, 6 shots as well. So, you know, peppering the Shadows' net. And for the Shadows, the goals came, I think, all round from Kurt and Logan, the pair of them sharing the glory, but unable to stem the Tempest pressure, which eventually paid off and eventually led to, I guess, it'll be harsh to say the collapse in the Shadows' defense. Maybe those are too harsh words, but it was certainly dominant for the RAF Tempest. Sorry.
It was, however, I don't think the Shadows can be too disappointed with that. Obviously, the scoreline got a little bit crazy towards the end. However, there were signs of brilliance from the Shadows. So I think they need to keep their heads up if they want to stay in this game, because they're definitely in it. It's just whether they can maintain composure in defence and maybe stop those last man dives when they do have the pressure, because it just ends up with them opening themselves up, which leads to them conceding. So yeah,
just making sure that everyone is good to go. It looks like we are pretty much good to go for game 2. Waiting to see if the Shadows are going to call a technical timeout. Cool. We are going to call it then, and they're going to go straight into the next game then. Which is a good sign. No technical
I think it was
issues
just the quick restart, I think. Hopefully that fixes Steve's issues. So it will be Samez on the kickoff. It's facing Logan. It's in favour of the Tempests. This could be an early start for the Tempests, and it will be Reedy. And it only takes 2 seconds for the Tempests to start off this game. Number 2.
So harsh for the RAF Shadows. It's not what you want, especially when you are technically MMR underdogs. You want to be holding on to that 0 as long as you can, but they won't be afraid of this position. They are masters of coming back from it. They just want to regain a little bit now. Regain and ensure they don't go too far behind too quickly. But the RAF Tempests are looking ruthless at this moment in time. They are racing and gunning and determined to get that second position. And I'm sure the likes of Samez and even Asher has history in the RAF Tempests before will rightly feel that that position belongs to them. The Shadows will argue differently. They will feel they've earned it. So it's a really tough one to call. Samez soft touch and the awkward bounce off the corner wasn't quite red. Asher though will keep the press inside the RAF Shadows half. Logan away. Greyman will rotate and let Kurt onto the ball. And Kurt almost beating the first man there, but the pressure remains inside that Shadows half, and it's a good effort as well by Samez, and the pressure eventually pays off. Logan showing his respect there for that beautiful shot, and Samez makes it 3. This one racing away from the RAF Shadows.
Indeed it is, and I don't think they've had time really to settle after the kickoff in this game number 2, and I think once it settles a little bit and they get it out of their area, I feel maybe they'll get into this game a little bit more. But there are a few mechanical mistakes coming out of the RAF Shadows, which I think is ultimately leading to their downfall at this moment in time. However, there's still plenty of time left in this game for it to turn around. Kurt will happily receive that ball. Tries to make a play of his own. Huge, long looping pass attempt from Reedy, as Samez was floating on the other end of the pitch. This one will fall right back into Reedy's hands. He's going to go for a solo play. Gets bumped, but he is still following this ball. That's a lovely skim from Asher. Kurt will take this one slowly. He knows he doesn't need to rush. Logan now sends that one downfield. Asher beats him to the ball. Greyman whiffs that one, and that one will just float depressingly into the back of the Shadows net.
We both know Steve. We both know Steve. We both know what he's like. And I can picture the reaction on his face. I can picture the quips that he'll be making right now in the RAF Shadows voice channels. He'll be laughing at it. He'll be slightly depressed at it as well, I'm sure. And this game, again, looking like it's going to be put out of the control of the RAF Shadows now, and it will take a monumental collapse for the Tempests to let this one go. And it's looking more and more likely that it will be a 2-game deficit. But it feels a bit harsh because there is still 3 minutes to play. Peak the chat from Vixed, who's clearly prepped this team well, and the Tempests again just absolutely ruthless, and at this moment in time look too quick for the RAF Shadows. They're not giving them any time, any respect, any space to do anything, and they're being suffocated into submission here. It's 5-0 and there is still 3 minutes to play. This one could get pretty upsetting for the Shadows.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one to forget if you are an RAF Shadows fan or if you are one of the RAF Shadows. However, it's now a good chance for them just to reset themselves mentally, physically. You know, they'll get up out of your chair, even in the game. Just give your hands a shake, because you're 5-0 down. It looks like that number might be ever increasing. However, Reedy off the back wall. Chance could fall for Kurt. Fakes the reset. However, both Tempests had that one covered. Greyman off the ceiling looking for LW. Samez clears LW. This will be a mightily good read, and he does get it. And that is the class that Logan can bring to the Shadows. I think maybe they need to utilize his mechanics a little bit more if they want to have a chance in this series. As Reedy will clear that one out into his corner, getting the reset to recover. It doesn't go quite to plan. This is going to be dangerous now for the Tempests. But out by Reedy. Another demo coming in. Logan on net, but it's only as far as Asher. Are we going to see a last man commit? We are. Onto the backboard of the Tempest. This could be still dangerous, and it does end up in the back of the Tempest goal, and it is an own goal. I'm not sure who by, but I did see it come off an orange card. And I think it was Asher who does back into the top corner, but I don't think the Shadows have quite enough time to get back into this game, but I would love to be proved wrong.
It's better though from them, regardless of the end result of this particular game, that they managed to live with the Tempest for a lot longer and actually got the reward out of it after some decent pressure. So the Shadows showing signs of life, showing signs of improvement here. And even if this game is gone for them and it is going to be a 2-0 deficit for the Tempest, the fact that they've had an improvement in this last couple of minutes will bode well going into the start of the next game. And if they can be stubborn as they normally are, then it becomes all the more viable to pull off a comeback or a reverse sweep potentially if it goes to that level. The Grey Man trying to find a second goal, which will just spike their morale, their momentum a little bit more going into the next game, but no, not to come that time. Asher will punt it downfield, loops high and long. Logan will take a nice soft touch as well, just a bit heavier than he would have liked. That let Tempest have a shot onto the Shadows net. Reedy drops it down, and it's a striker's dream of a header down into the penalty area, bouncing. So difficult for the keeper to judge if it's quick enough, and it was that time. And Reedy makes it 6, and parity restored for the RAF Tempests now heading into the close of Game 2.
If I were an RAF Shadow right now, I'd want to take momentum into the next game, and it has been an improvement in this second half. However, I wouldn't mind another goal to take with me into game number 3. It's the Grey Man in the corner. Gets it off the backboard once, twice. She does manage to get something on it. Logan, I think if that one was on target, that might have snuck into that top right corner. There is still pressure now from the RAF Shadows. Reedy is covering that one, and with plenty of boost in the tank, gets the reset to the sidewall. But Kurt gets another shot towards net. Fortunately, not fast enough that time. The ball popped up high into the corner. A whiff from Reedy. Samez will cover it and deal with that one. Gets around the Grey Man, and Reedy, can he slot this one home? Yes, he can, with a lovely skim. And that will be the Brazil.
Yeah, it was Samez again, causing all kinds of havoc and beating the Grey Man there on the right-hand side wall. And Reedy, we've seen people miss those, but really showing his quality. And do you know what? I have been pretty impressed by him since he's coming to the RAF Tempest. Giving a lot of responsibility, to be fair, and a lot of pressure, stepping into what many will see and what could be after tonight the second team if this goes the way that it looks like it's going. And he's worked hard, he grinds, he puts the hours in the game, and I think everyone can probably see now that it's pretty merited, the chance that he's got, and that he's making the most of it. It's so far so good for him in his. Is this actually his show match debut? I can't quite remember.
I think it might be. Did they do their last token match off stream? I think they might have.
Yeah, was it?
I can't remember though.
Maybe.
I think it was at the in-services, yeah. So yeah, I think it could be his debut. We'll ask him later whether it is or not, and we'll find out. I think it might be.
Fair enough, and like I say, he's not had the easiest time. Like, it's not easy to step into a setup like the RAF Tempests, who have known to be traditionally the RAF second team, across these last 2 or 3 years, with of course the Shadows taking that mantle off of them for the past year or so, just under a year potentially. But I think he's adapted to it really well, and he puts the time in on the game. He grinds a lot, and I think he's in a team that complements that. All 3 of these players are very active on the game, especially Sammons as well. And of course, we can't forget, Cedric, that G-Wood also comes back off deployment very, very, very soon, and take his position on this Tempest roster, which will only augment them further. And for the Shadows, who are also missing a 4th currently, a couple of options for them to look at as well, and I wonder who they'll take.
Yeah, well, Subi is probably the favourite for the Shadows to look at, as I think he significantly strengthens this roster. You have got a few other names. You're going to have to remind me of who. But there are a few other free agents available. But I think Subi is probably the most notable one of the few.
We'll see how those transfer rumours build between now and the end of the transfer window, which we'll call, I don't know, say January. Kurt now, launches that one downfield. This one a little bit better now for the RAF Shadows. They started off in a much more stubborn manner, not conceding early. Asher, though, looking to change that. Logan flicks on. Kurt chases as well, almost beats Samez, whose touch had to be there, otherwise that was a certain goal. Logan looks to build a Shadows attack. Good 50. The Grey Man is there. Really can't quite read that in time. The Grey Man there again. Samez in towards Really. Good play between those two. They've linked up a few times on this occasion. Logan's 50 with Samez again. Another good one that favours the Shadows. Samez will skim that across the face of goal and just wide of the mark that time.
This is a much better start from the Shadows, though. This is exactly what they need not to crumble straight after the kickoff. If I don't want to curse it, which I have done, as Samez will take the lead in this game number, what, 3? Game 3? I think it's game 3.
Yeah, game 3.
Game number 3. But yeah, the Shadows looked a lot better for that first 2 minutes. Can they repeat that and maybe steal one back?
Logan wins the kickoff, but Asher is there first. Looks infield, gets a really nice bob as well. I think Kurt, the captain of the Shadows there, just demolished and removed from the play. Reedy, nice first touch, challenged immediately by Logan though. And the ball falls in the half. Another a really nice soft touch and double from Steve the Deal. Where on earth has that come from? You've seen Pluvo do it, and that's probably where he's got it from, to be honest. That was professional level stuff from the Grey Man, but it only results as far as his next level, which is a whiff, and Logan with another whiff, or a fake, as he might see it, as Kurt the captain beats Samez. Reedy's looped touch, awkward, and Asher with a whiff as well, and there's whiffs all round here. Maybe a little bit of nerves or anxiety, or just maybe a bit of overconfidence from the RAF Tempests as they get their noses in front with a 1-0 lead, but they all want a second, because, you know, a 1-goal lead against the RAF Shadows is never a safe thing, never a safe bet, as the Grey Man comes across, and it will fall to Kurt, who puts it into the corner. Reedy, Kurt, shooting opportunity, just wide and above the target. Steve will come across. 50 by Samez. Infield to Logan it goes. Looped towards the Grey Man, who just puts it high. Up goes Logan again. Puts it onto the ceiling. And Samez and Reedy both commit for that one, as does Asher. And there is chances here. There are gaps in the RAF Tempest defense for the Shadows to exploit. But they're just not able to craft the killer opportunity, the killer touch at this moment in time.
There is a lot of whiffs coming out of the RAF Tempests. I think maybe nerves are getting a little bit in the way as Shadows continue to build on this pressure. As another double commit comes out of Samez and Asher. Grey Man now up, meeting Reedy to that ball. Grey Man is just going to leave that for Logan, who is going to take to the sidle. Hopefully we can see some of these mechanics come to use as he fakes the first, gets round one. Only as far as Reedy, but Kurt will put another one in the danger area. Another double commit coming out of the Tempests. Grey Man to the back wall. I don't think he has enough boost to follow. LW with a shooting opportunity. Will it make its way? Not this time. But pressure still with the RAF Shadows. Sam is desperately clearing that one out. The Grey Man drops down left only as far as Samez. He will go for a little redirect towards the Shadows net, but does miss this time. LW's turn to take it down the field. Kurt, fake challenge. Lovely fake challenge as well to give the Grey Man the possession. But LW looked for the shot, and that was probably the best chance the RAF Shadows have had.
Yeah, it was a slender opening, but an opening nonetheless. But it wasn't taken advantage of, and now away come the RAF Tempest. 19 seconds. The ball inside the RAF Shadows half. Deep their third as Kurt goes for a flick, but Samez meets it. Logan flicks downfield. Asher almost bumped by Kurt, but Asher was smart enough to avoid it. Logan looking in field again for his captain, and the seconds trickle on down. It's 2, it's 1, it's missed. It's Samez who keeps the ball up. Fair play to him for that. Abiding by rule 1. Will it cost the Shadows? No. Will it cost Tempest? No, it won't. Asher drops it down. And the RAF Tempests have triple second place point here on the RAF Storm Shadows channel. But, Cedric, a lot better from the RAF Shadows that game. Just the 1 goal conceded. They had a few chances to convert of their own. Okay, it didn't quite go their way. But what was the key? I mean, I don't understand. Like, how can we go from a 6-2 game to then a 1-0 game? What did the Shadows do better in that game in your eyes? For me, I felt like they didn't give Tempest simply enough time, as much time as they did in that second game. For me, that was the key.
I think also a factor is when you're down like 2 or 3 goals in a game, you're gonna overextend, and you know you find yourselves opening like opening up and taking more risks, which will subsequently lead in you conceding more goals. So I think that is always going to happen when there's a big scoreline. However, I think the Tempests just need to repeat that and maybe finish their chances off, because there's definitely gaps in that last game for them to score. But we are now into match point number 1. And the Shadows have won a quick start in this game number 4. LW down towards Asher, plays the 50, maybe looking for a bump on the back wall. Reedy will take it to his corner. Lovely beat, but only as far as Greyman. He finds Kurt. And LW back up to the Greyman, who is going to go off the back wall. I think maybe going for the spectacular. But Reedy now with a little bit of time of his own. Very smart to go and take the boost. Goes for the bump, but a little bit of a miscommunication. He's going to leave Sammers on his own. But luckily for him, he deals with it. A shot downfield. Kurt is going to keep the pressure. Logan, maybe a little bit of an overcommit, but Steve is back. That one will float straight up to the ceiling where Kurt is there to meet it. Greyman now chasing this one into his corner. Beats out Asher. And another touch and another. Endless amount of touches for Stevie Dillon, and a little bit of miscommunication from the Shadows. Leaves nobody going for that ball.
But it's so unfortunate because it was well worked by the RAF Shadows, but nobody was there to pull the trigger between Kurt and Logan. They left it for each other. It's unlucky it can happen, but a much better start here for the RAF Shadows as they survived the first minute and 20 with arguably the better couple of chances. Really goes for an audacious bumping attempt, actually quite smart. And Steve in the background getting rid of Asher as Kurt lets it drop down and onto the roof of his car. He tried to flick it over Sammers. Sammers read it well. Logan. Asher will let that one run and flicks it somehow back towards his right where Reedy was waiting. The Greyman watching Kurt flash across the face of goal. Good bumping here from the RAF Shadows. Shooting opportunity. Reedy with a really good save, and Sammers completes the clearance.
Yeah, and it is all RAF Shadows out the minute. As it is going to fall in the middle for the Greyman, who tries to dribble it round Reedy, but Reedy comes in extremely hot. Not giving the Greyman any time to think about what he wants to do, let alone beat him. As Asher now gets a shot. Fast redirect from the Greyman now. Kurt just going to send that one downfield. Praying maybe that one didn't hit the roof. That may have made its way into the Tempest net as Reedy goes for a skim. Asher now. Only to the back wall. Kurt happy to play the 50s. Good cut by Asher. He's going to have a little bit of time. What can he do with 100 boost? Takes it to the ceiling. Uses empty flip. Sammers leaves us for Reedy. Good communication shown by the RAF Tempests. Reedy now with one. Tries to play the 50 with the Greyman, who does just whiff the ball. Greyman now with some boost in the tank. Heading it downfield. Is going to try and get a shot on target. Gets the 50. Is there going to be a follow-up from any RAF Shadows man? Not this time, but we are going to see some pressure on the Tempest net.
They are finding their feet a little bit now. They are finding their solidity. Their rotations are a lot better as Logan has to meet that one and does. Sammers was lurking, lying in wait to finish that one off and put the RAF Shadows in a really, really dire situation. I mean, how much more dire can you get? 3-0 down, facing a token match defeat here. And they're going and responding with a lot more aggression. And here comes Logan, shooting opportunity, good flick, goes for the bump as well, nearly connected with the car of Reedy, who avoids it smartly and swiftly as he looks to set the RAF Tempest away. But Kurt takes over the possession of the ball and leads the Shadows out of the defense temporarily, but Sammers with a really nice snapshot. And again, the Shadows just swat it away and play it calmly out the back. Up goes Logan, nicely intercepted by Asher, who can't quite find Kurt with the demo. Kurt knocks it infield and gets the clear.
That is not a double commit you want to see in this part of the field from the Shadows, and they do just about get away with that one, but now the Greyman. 100 boost, chance to shine. It's got to be this time. It's Asher off the side one, that's going to float into an open net, but why haven't they talked to each other? That could have been the opener for the Shadows in this game number 4, and I don't know how that hasn't made its way into the Tempest net. However, not to worry, it is still 0-0. However, if RAF Shadows lose this game 1-0, they'll feel a little bit hard done by. As Logan tries the Cook's pinch, as we've seen him do on multiple occasions, and Kurt will go for the shot, and Steve going for the demo accidentally redirects the ball away. However, the pressure still piling on from the RAF Shadows. A bump on Reedy and an attempt on Sammers has the Tempest scrambling.
What a last game, or potentially last game, it sounds like if the RAF Tempests can take it. I hope not. I want to see more. To be honest, I want to see more of these two teams doing battle. And there is a 1 versus 1. Logan against Asher. Logan plays it slow, and Asher keeps his nerve superbly as we now look destined for overtime. And we are. What a dramatic end to that one. Asher and Logan, they know each other well, and that would have factored into that last play between the two of them. And Asher will bring the Tempest out again. Logan just takes over. The Grey Man, demoing well and allowing Logan onto the ball. Sames. Clearance eventually comes by Asher, but Curtis will just punt it back onto the Tempest backboard. Really receiving the pass from Sames now. Beats one. The Grey Man will turn on the ball and just take his time. Nice soft touch. Has all the time in the world to make a play out of defense here, and does. The 50 falls to Asher, and Logan away to the right-hand side. The Shadows slowly getting out of defense, and the snapshot almost catches out Steve, but it's a good save in the end.
Indeed it is, and I've asked, is that going to make its way to the net? Not this time, and I think I was just going to touch on is the Shadows looking their best, but I'm afraid I think it's come maybe 2 games too late, as we've had a 1-0 win from the Tempests and a 0-0 overtime in this game number 4. Be nice for the Shadows if they can get at least 1 game on the board this series. As Logan redirects that one towards his own plan. Is possibly the worst way to end the series. Oh, poor Logan. Poor Logan.
Logan, I love you, but GG's. GG's coming in the chat.
I think that's a Stell move.
That is a Stell move. That is a fair play to the RAF Shadows. And of course, they gave it a good go. And potentially things could be different had they started off that last game. Sorry, the series as they started off that last game, because that was a lot better from them. But it is the RAF Tempests who take second place now. And they are now targets for the rest of the community, the rest of the server to take them. You know, you've got 6 RAF rosters now that can all take aim at these players, at these teams. And that, of course, Cedric, means that you are also now not immune to that. I mean, the Tempest may throw a token in at you. Who knows?
Can I say something? With not even a minute later, Kurt has put at RAF Tempest token reinserted, so there will be a rematch coming at the RAF Shadows. And hey, who knows? They may have signed a new 4th man by then, so it's definitely one to keep an eye on still. And if they come back stronger, I think that could go either way.
For sure. I especially now, they'll know now that they've played that last game where things could have gone either way. Arguably, the Shadows should have had 2 goals in that overtime, but just couldn't, for whatever reason, get it over the line. And unfortunately for Logan, searching for a pass to his captain in the corner, ends up finding the back of his own net. I'm sure he'll hate to watch that one back. But that is just how the game can sometimes go. Mistakes happen, and Logan is a very, very solid player who, again, had a good series. But from us tonight, from myself and Cedric, a massive congratulations to the RAF Tempests who take second place, but must defend it again in the rematch clause at some point in the near future. From myself and Cedric, we bid you farewell, and we'll see you next time. Take care, and good night.